okupili smo se da bi naši gosti iz Austrije predstavili Tesla projekat. I ovaj dan smrti, tačno se navršilo godinu dana od smrti naše uvažene koleginice i Marice Radojčić umne.
A mathematician by training, Ms. Radojčić started exhibiting in 1982, picking up ideas from mathematics and philosophy and incorporating them into her works of art, which covered a wide spectrum of media, from paintings, sculptures, to installations and video works. Marica Radojčić was a true pioneer working on the intersections of arts and science, founding the Mathematical Arts Institute and Association of Arts and Sciences in the 90s, enabling interdisciplinary debate across the border of art and science. One of the projects Marica Radojčić worked on focused on the work of Nikola Tesla. It was planned that Ms. Radojčić exhibits this project in Graz with the support of longtime collaborators and friends, as well as the Steirische Initiative for Culture. Sadly, this undertaking was stalled by Ms. Radojčić's sudden passing away.
Based on my epistemological interest, I picked up two aspects. Both extraordinary persons were working on. Light as a medium of seeing and its meaning to life, and formalization of what is seen to communicate primarily visual perception. Finally, it's about enlightening the darkness by insight, by getting knowledge. Sight and insight, a basic energy for nature, for life. More than symbolizing by light, which should be given as knowledge to all the people just for free. This utopian point of view, creating knowledge by seeing nature and distributing the natural power of enlightenment, will be brought to a postmodern use of information being around the body, just grasping it from the all-at-onceness of the electronic space, as McLuhan assumed in the 60s.
She came into art from the science, and this is not a usual way how you start to work artistically. She was a great mathematician. She was a professor on the faculty of mathematics, and she was also, as a young woman, she had a stipendium of Fulbright studying mathematics in USA and so on. So she was an outstanding and very important mathematician. And then, as I know, she faced a very bad illness in some point of her life. And this facing the death, we would say, changed her mindset somehow. And I saw how professional she works. She was a perfectionist, and she didn't make any improvising. Goethe Institute made a project in Savamala. Perhaps you remember it. The name of this project was Urban Incubator. The idea was to try out what utopia means in a new urban space or in a public space. So it was the very, I would say, Sisyphus work, because it was impossible to mark all of them. But she started, and all the numbers, thousands of bricks, she marked with the charcoal or so, and then photographed them. It's Marica's own work. This is in a small video how she did it, and she did it for hours as a mathematician.
Since we first met in 2003, throughout years of meetings and discussions, I was learning more and more about her attitude towards art, science, and particularly philosophy, but at the same time about her unique openness for those who were curious enough and creative, for those who have energy. I was also learning about her sensitivity, precision, and determination in realization of art projects, and also her great skepticism toward established, accepted truths in life and society. Marica ventured in analysis deeply, taking in consideration primarily Tesla's ability to transform facts and combine them towards new inventions. Instead of saying there is still so much that we don't know, Marica would often say, if we know that little, almost nothing, how could we expect to understand something more? As she told in one of the interviews, in mathematics, Marica found out her proof that God exists. Since the algorithms are not our human deed, she said, it will be very hard, if not impossible, to break through completely into their essence. This doesn't belong in the domain of science, and many scientists will angrily react on this, but in other fields. In question of creator, because how can we expect to explain something about whose origin we don't know anything? It is like poking about grains of sand in search for the truth about the whole desert.
We were talking about two mathematics. So one mathematic is Mathematica Naturalis, or natural mathematics. That is a method by which nature creates the world of things, or what we call reality, physical reality. And the other mathematics comes from human imagination, being like a theory of games, something like that. So we are making axioms and so on, and logic progression. But that is not a creative mathematics. So we agreed, in very good discussion, it's the whole night actually, that mathematics is the only language of art which comes directly from divine proportion or God, or you would say it's a golden section, actually, golden cut. Scientific discovery comes from above. It is inspiration. It does not be learned. You can read as many books as are in all the world libraries, and at least, I would say, 30 million books. It's not possible to read them, of course. But what is scientific discovery? It does not come from knowledge, from teachings, from books, from libraries. It comes from above. It is a kind of enlightenment. It comes in a moment without logic. There is no logic of scientific discovery. What means that it is an artistic creation act in science.
Tesla and Marica. I said before, let's look at very complex thing, very easy, in a very easy way. I picked up the description of her project, Tesla's words, basically, and had a look at the etymology of her words. It's illumination of darkness. Illumination is to bring in light, a natural energy, to have an enlightenment of darkness. And what we see, we can control, reducing uncertainty in life by this. Western culture will be dominated on seeing. different sensory control of body-environment interaction leads to different embodied cognitions. What does it mean? We produce a series of two-dimensional slides, 25 per second. You are creator of your reality. We see the moment, and we control those moments in a series of moments. We synthesize realities and generalize this in visibility, in ideologies, and so on and so on. We hear not the moment. You can't hear the moment. But we hear a stream of moments. Marshall McLuhan in the 60s talked about the information is coming to us and not we are going to the information. And the information is coming this fast that we perceive it in the all-at-onceness. This is the situation we have today. We just grasp what is around us. Is this, for instance, an approach to art and science?
Even if Tesla's hard work, his creativity, philanthropy, and generosity were impressive, the myth of Tesla surpassed greatly most expectations. Actually, there are several myths about him as a superhuman that are omnipresent, mostly by his fans and admirers. Internet is abundant with the websites and blogs considering Tesla as not only one-of-a-kind genius, but also a superstar, while some consider him as an alien, describing his super abilities to memorize everything, to imagine the entire research, read the entire world libraries, to control minds, etc., etc. On the other hand, some representatives of religions and cults declared him as an idol, some as a saint or an angel, and some even as a divinity. If it were a balanced equation, we could see his achievements beside the accomplishments. A huge amount of work he did on himself, a strong will that he developed, an exemplary focus and vision, constant progress, and all of that in service of peace building and helping others. He claimed that innovation and creativity in science is a form of art, and the true scientists require an artist, highly dedicated and inspired. He even wrote that, well, many times actually, some of his chapters were named like The Art of Teleautomatics, etc. He talked about art and science in the same direction. It was for him something without separation at all.
Over 100 years ago, in 1900, Nikola Tesla described a world system that, from a combination of several of his original discoveries, became the vision of the internet, which is exactly the technology we are using today. And it has made us interconnected in a way that wasn't possible before. And I consider the internet as a medium, but also as some type of power, because power has the ability to affect society or individuals, whether good or bad, but it has so many benefits which we are obviously all aware of. First, obviously, we became interconnected to every person around the world using the internet, and we can share our knowledge with each other, and plus we can share also our personal stories with each other. And that's, I think, something unique. For example, when you create a medium or a message or an artwork or music or a performance, you automatically need to reflect on your decisions that you made during the process of creation. You ask yourself, if I want some audio-visual movie, for example, you ask yourself, do I want to include language? Which language do I want to include or exclude? Which characters do I want to include or exclude? Which values and point of views do I want to emphasize, and so on.